And we are live. So what's up, you guys? Godzilla fan freaks coming at you today with Kaiju Chill O'Clock, episode 49. We are one episode away, basically, from episode 50. Talk about wow. I see we had a couple people on in here. I think they were waiting. Gojira851 says hello. And then Goji2001, what's going on? Glad you guys are here. And we see we got a like already. Yes, guys, Atomic Blast that like button. Thank you very much. Helps out the show, helps out the algorithm and all that good stuff. And just hope everybody's having a good week. Happy pre-Father's Day for any fathers out there, or your fathers, anyone's father. Father's Day. Yes, Father's Day is this weekend. What else has been going on? Not a whole heck of a lot, but thank you all for being here. I see we don't got too many people on in here, but that's all good. And we're just going to go with the flow of the show like we always do. Nothing too crazy or new as of late. It's been kind of slow. It's been that way for the past couple weeks. Haven't really been buying a lot. Haven't really been purchasing a lot. Still waiting on some pre-orders to come in, stuff like that. And that's really about it. There really hasn't been a whole heck of a lot of new stuff going on. There is some topics to talk about for sure today on today's show. Like always, though, you guys, ask me questions. You have questions for me. Could be, whatever. Kaiju Chill O'Clock. We're just, you're just sitting and chilling with me for a couple hours. Today in the background, I will be having a movie on, but I will be keeping the TV volume relatively low, just because now I got something else I have to watch out for, which is apparently audio, which I knew audio is always an issue on YouTube. If you're using music or playing a movie, apparently in the background, they can ping you for audio. I've never been pinged for audio before until episode 48. Was that episode 48? Kaiju 2 o'clock. It was it was 47. 47 was the episode. And so going to be having a movie on in the background today. And actually the other day when I was going to work, I just left home, and then I was like, man, I just had the itching just out of nowhere all of a sudden on my way to work. I was like, I just want to watch a Godzilla movie. I want to watch a good old Showa Godzilla movie for some reason. And I was like, I'll just do that on the show this week. And Richmond, Wisconsin, what's going on, man? And so today I figured, why not just throw on a good old Showa Godzilla movie? And as much as I do love the Criterion Godzilla Blu-ray set, like many others have also stated, including myself, there is a reason to keep any of your classic media or other Godzilla DVD releases, and that is because the Criterion set didn't include all the options for you. As somebody who grew up with Godzilla, and of course grew up mainly with the dubbed, I want to say about 85% of the time when I watch a Godzilla movie, I watch the dubbed version. And that's just preference. I do watch the subtitled versions, every now and then. Again, there's like a 15% chance I'll throw on a Godzilla movie and watch subtitles, but 85% of the time, I usually will throw on the dub, and that is preference for myself. And Criterion put out an awesome Showa Godzilla set, but only a select few of the movies had their English dub tracks. So for some of those other Godzilla movies, if you like the English dubbed or anything of them, you're kind of SOL on that end, and that's why it was good to hold on to your classic media and DVD releases and other releases and so on. Tim, what's going on? And so today in the background, we'll be having on the classic 1964 Mothra vs. Godzilla. And again, I prefer, 85% of the time, I throw on a dub. And I do enjoy the dub for this movie. I like the added scene where they have America come in and help with their new missile and stuff, and try to ask the Americans for help against Godzilla. That's an added scene that is only in the dubbed version of this film. It is not in the original Japanese version. So yeah, so we're gonna be having Mothra versus Godzilla on in the background today. Again, earlier in the week on my way to work, I just felt like, just randomly, I literally just left my house here. I was driving down the road and I'm like, man, I feel like watching just a good old Showa Godzilla movie. And I don't know why it hit me, but it just hit me. So that is what we are going to be having on in the background today. Mothra vs. Godzilla, 1964. Definitely a fan favorite. Definitely a classic. I will not forget the time that I did a watch party with my buddy, the bitter Irishman. And if you guys haven't seen those videos, you'll have to scroll through my videos. I should actually throw them into a playlist because those were a lot of fun to do. I will probably do that so they're a little easier to find. But me and my buddy, the bitter Irishman, when we got together, it was a while ago now, and he never had really seen any of the Godzilla movies before. You know, he's seen some of the newer stuff and the Matthew Broderick and everything like that, but he never really saw any of the true Japanese films. And so I gave him a list of movies, and he picked 4 and then wanted me to pick a last one. At least I think it was 4. We might have watched only 4. I don't remember if we watched 4 or 5. Again, that was a while ago now. I have to go back and refresh my memory on those. But one of the movies he chose was Mothra vs. Godzilla. And I even explained to him, this is a fan favorite amongst the Godzilla series. A lot of people love this movie. It's actually arguable. It's probably the best Godzilla movie next to the original 1954. And so he was really excited, especially since the original was one of the movies that he picked. And he really enjoyed the original Godzilla 54. My buddy, the bitter Irishman, his true name is Travis. What he likes to do is he likes to watch bad movies and he likes to rip on them. That's what he does. So he was waiting for opportunities to rip on Godzilla. And so that was the whole premise of getting together and recording those videos. And then the bits that I did record were kind of his straight up reactions to certain scenes. And then after we did our reactions and everything, we did a thoughts and opinions video on the movie, kind of like his own little like review and take on it. And it was a lot of fun to do. We've been in the talks about doing another one, but where I sit in with him and we watch a bunch of bad movies and stuff. Reptile 7876, what's going on? Lucy Collected, what's going on, Jonathan? How are we all doing? But I'm gonna have to throw those videos into a playlist because if you guys haven't seen those yet, they're actually pretty fun to watch. Now, were they maybe the best? No, but again, I'm not the best technologically set up savvy guy. And as far as editing goes, I did the best that I could manually. Just pausing, recording, stopping the recording, resuming the recording, cutting that way. And we just had a blast. And when we got to this movie, in all honesty, when it was over, he couldn't wait to necessarily hear the backlash from fans, if anybody did, comment on it in a way. Because he actually didn't really enjoy Mothra versus Godzilla that much. Again, so he was like ready to rip into it because he knew he was going to ruffle a lot of people's feathers. But he really didn't enjoy Mothra versus Godzilla. He thought Godzilla was just a clumsy-ass bumbling idiot. He did like the Godzilla suit and design. And then again, what a lot of people have always said over the years is, of course, in this movie, Godzilla loses to Mothra, and he loses to the larva, the larva states, and then he just thought that was absolutely ridiculous. Like, how the frick does this giant mutated lizard dinosaur that breathes fire lose to 2 worms? Goju 2001, Godzilla, Mothra vs. Godzilla 64 is my first Godzilla movie. That is a great first movie to introduce yourself to the Godzilla series for sure. It is a classic. That is awesome right there. I see we got 6 people on in here, 4 likes. Again, thank you guys for joining me, Godzilla Fan Freaks Live, for Kaiju Chill O'Clock, episode 49. Thank you all for being here. Don't forget to atomic blast that like button. Helps out the algorithm and all that good stuff. And if you missed it, in the background today, I just felt like watching a good old Showa Godzilla flick. And so I am watching the 1964 Mothra vs. Godzilla. And so when we did that whole spiel and everything, he just kind of had fun ripping into that movie a little bit. Again, if you guys haven't seen those videos, I will put them into a playlist. I'll actually immediately do that after I'm done with this today. That way you guys can go and check it out, because we watched the movies he picked were the original 1954, this one, Mothra vs. Godzilla, 1964. I know that he also picked Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah from 91, and then he picked Godzilla vs. Megaguirus from 2000. Yeah, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus was 2000. Yeah. So those were the 4 movies he picked, and then he wanted me to pick a 5th, and for a Godzilla movie for him to really rip into, and for us just to have a good blast of a time and end on the highest note possible for that entire day, was Godzilla's Revenge. And let me tell you, that was a lot of fun to watch Godzilla's Revenge with my buddy, the bitter Irishman, Travis. That's probably the best video out of the bunch you guys could imagine. Again, if you haven't seen those, I'll throw them into a playlist later on, and then you guys can go under my playlists and check that out. Or if you just want to scroll and look for them, if you want to do that, whatever, whatever works. But I will definitely throw them into a playlist for you guys. And, I've been kind of getting into the swing of things, kind of keeping things a little more organized on the channel in a way, if you could say. The Figure Talk Tuesday videos that I've been doing, I've been throwing those into a playlist. Kaiju Chill O'Clock shows, I've been throwing those into a playlist. That way everything's, in one spot for everybody if somebody wants to binge stuff one day. And so I'll have to throw those into a playlist. But that was a really fun day. Travis picked some great Godzilla movies right off the bat without even really having any knowledge of the series or anything. Those were the movies he picked. He wanted to watch the original 1954, mainly because he could see where this all kind of originated from. And he really enjoyed 1954. Like, he was set up, again, he rips into movies. And Godzilla 1954 really didn't give him anything to rip into because he overly enjoyed it. He really enjoyed Godzilla 1954, and that just shows you, for somebody who's never seen anything Godzilla or whatnot, if you show them 1954, even though it's in black and white, it is still a masterpiece, good, solid film. The original Godzilla is amazing. It's a great movie. Is it one of my favorites? Yes, I do enjoy it. Is it in my top 10 favorite Godzilla movies? No. No, so that first one that we watched, he was like, I thought I was going to be ripping into these movies, but now I don't know what I'm in store for, because that was a good movie. He enjoyed it. And so that was a good, fun start. But then it all kind of went downhill from there. He talked about, the whole mess and time traveling and everything like that with Godzilla versus King Ghidorah. and all that good stuff. So, I mean, that was a good fun day. So, again, if you haven't watched those, or if you have watched those, put it in the comments. What did you think about them? Let's chat about it, because that was a good fun day. Goji 2001, how dare you not like Mothra vs. Godzilla 1964? Shame on you, get some help. Hey, I like it. I do like Godzilla vs. Mothra, or Mothra vs. Godzilla 1964. I do enjoy it. He really didn't enjoy it all that much. But I do enjoy it. Let's see. Godzilla's Revenge still haunts my nightmares. And then Rich from Wisconsin, some of the comments Irishman had were funny. Rich has watched those videos. Well, thank you very much, Rich. Yes, no, his comments were hilarious. And his whole thing is he likes to get under the influence and watch bad movies. So that whole day, you can see in each video that we do, he's just piling up beers in the corner because he's just been drinking all day, and he's just been getting more under the influence as we went on watching the Godzilla movies. And by the time we got to Godzilla's Revenge, you could see all the bottles of beer that he had built up. And it was just a great, fun, fantastic day. I drank a little bit too that day, but just because I had to run the camera and do content for the channel, I stayed a little more sober than he did. But no, it was a good, fun time. So you're hearing it here from Rich from Wisconsin in his comment. It was a great, fun time. He had some great comments and all that stuff. Goji 2001, wait, Godzilla 1954 isn't in your top 10? You're joking. It is not. If you go back and watch the video I did with Nick over on the Monster Report, Nick had me on there, and he wanted to know my top 10 Godzilla movies. So we went over my top 10, and Godzilla 1954 was not in that list. Godzilla 1954 was the very first Godzilla movie I ever saw, at 3 years old, mind you. Godzilla, the original, was the first movie that I saw. That was the movie that introduced me to all of this. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. At 3 years old. Again, you got to keep that in mind. But it is not a favorite of mine. And that doesn't mean I don't like it. Okay? A lot of people might get that mixed up. Just because it's not in a top 10 or something like that doesn't necessarily mean I don't like the film. No, I highly like Godzilla 1954. But I go off of my top 10s off of rewatchability and enjoyment. Godzilla 1954, I kind of put in a category with Godzilla versus Destroya. Okay? Because Godzilla versus Destroya is not in my top 10 either. And that's because you have to be in a certain mood to watch those two movies. In my opinion, you really do. You got to be in a particular mood. I just can't be lounging around one day and be like, I want to watch Godzilla versus Destroya. Why not? You do. You got to be, in my opinion, you have to be in a certain type of mood and mindset to want to watch Godzilla versus Destroya and Godzilla 1954. They're just more, those movies have deep meanings and attachments for fans, for, the original being the metaphor for the atomic bombs and testings and all that stuff, and the tragedy that Japan went through and everything like that with those. That's so to be in the mood for 1954, I want to say I probably watch Godzilla 1954 maybe 1 to 3 times a year, maybe even 1 to 2 times a year. It's not one that I throw on a lot. You know what I mean? And again, to set the example, when I was on Collect All Monsters, I don't know if any of you saw that episode where we were talking about the Godzilla versus Godzilla versus the Sea Monster set right here behind me. We were talking about this figure right here. And we eventually got to the point where Leslie asked the question, okay, we need to set it up like this. You guys pick, you guys would watch Godzilla versus the Sea Monster over what would you preferably watch Godzilla versus the Sea Monster over? And apparently my first answer wasn't good enough because there's a lot of people in the community that don't like Final Wars, because my first answer was I choose to watch Godzilla versus the Sea Monster over Final Wars. And Leslie says I have to pick a higher bearing fruit than that. That's low bearing fruit. That's not a good choice. And so then I went all in. I literally said, I will pick to watch Godzilla versus the Sea Monster over the original. And it's true, because Godzilla versus the Sea Monster is literally one of those Godzilla movies you could just throw on, you can always be in the mood for. You know what I mean? It's fun, it's colorful, it's just a great overall setting and just a fun, it's just a fun film that you can throw on anytime. And so that's when it comes down to, my list and everything. My top 10 Godzilla list, I go off of enjoyment. I go off of rewatchability, kind of what I grew up with and what I enjoyed a lot as a kid. Which in all honesty, I think I really need to sit down and rework my top 10. And I might need to be on the Monster Report again and redo my top 10, because there are some movies in my top 10 that I could easily replace. I could easily replace like one or two of the films. With other Godzilla films that now, in my later years, I find a little bit more enjoyment and rewatchability out of. Excuse me. But let me catch up on your guys' comments here. Jonathan, wait, you like Godzilla movies? Weird flex, man. And then Godzilla Train 1090, what's going on? You all having fun? Blasphemy, I'm shutting this down. Oh, man. And then Reptile 7876, did I see the 25 centimeter Godzilla 92? Yes, I did. I did see that. Am I interested in picking it up? I'm going to pass on it. Just because the other 1992 Godzilla that I have, I personally like that one a little bit better. This one's cool, but yeah. Goji 2001, Godzilla vs. Destroya makes you cry to this day. I feel like Godzilla vs. Destroya hits home for a lot of us Godzilla fans. So we're all in the same boat on that one. Leslie, the 5488. Speaking of Leslie, I was just talking about the episode that we did. And then going back to that episode, Michael had to pick another answer after me because I stole his answer. So a lot of people were like shocked, it went silent, all that good stuff. But then Michael said I stole his answer. So I kind of took the thunder on that episode when we got to that part. But that was still a blast. So Michael was going to actually pick Godzilla versus the Sea Monster over 54 as well. But speaking of Leslie, what's going on, man? I'm going to catch up on your guys' comments. I feel like I've been neglecting you because I've just been blabbering on and talking about fun times. I'm having fun, like Godzilla Train 1090 just said. I'm having fun. Time to shut it down. I can't have fun. I'm not allowed to. Anyway, Leslie says, the 54 is his top 10 either. I personally watch Godzilla films for fun and enjoyment. Exactly. And as important, that is true. It is very important. As important as the original film is, it's not fun, nor is it a story that you can really enjoy. Leslie hit the nail right on the head. Jonathan, but I like Final Wars. Jonathan, get out of here. No Final Wars allowed. Gojira 851, that is understandable. Gojira and Shin Godzilla need to be in the right mood, just like Ridley Scott's Alien. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so people are understanding what I'm saying. That's good. I want people to understand. I do not hate the original 54 by any means. Leslie, also hearing Bitter Irishman's take on Mothra versus Godzilla, I'm convinced that instead of picking a random Godzilla films to riff, he should try picking a random eye doctor to see because he's blind. And then Godzilla Train 1090, clearly they are, Leslie. Again, I like Godzilla, Mothra versus Godzilla 64. Okay, I do. It's not in my top 10, but I do like Mothra versus Godzilla 64. But Bitter Irishman just did not see the appeal. Travis did not see the appeal that a lot of us Godzilla fans do about the movie. And you know what? That's fair because everybody is entitled to their opinion. Not everybody has to like the same things. Goji 2001, I'd rather watch Godzilla Raids again than Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. Ooh, I think Leslie's going to have something to say about that. Ooh, man. Rather watch Godzilla. See, now that's interesting. Godzilla Raids Again is not as bad as people say. It's far from the worst. You know, you're not wrong about that. Again, Godzilla Raids Again, definitely, it's appreciated because you got to think of it. It's the second Godzilla film ever. It's the first time Godzilla fights another monster, which kind of set up that whole, series thing of more monsters being involved and stuff like that. And it's Anguirus out of everybody. So it does have its pros. But to actually pick Godzilla Raids Again over the Sea Monster, that's interesting. That's interesting because Godzilla Raids Again, I am on that ladder of I don't really enjoy Godzilla Raids Again all that much. That is one of my lesser liked Godzilla movies. I do respect it for what it is. And like Leslie said too, some of the early Godzilla movies, they are important. Mothra versus Godzilla, you could say, is an important entry in the series as it brings, two of Toho's monsters together in one movie for the first time and kind of is starting that whole cinematic. Toho was doing cinematic universes before they were relevant in today's time, with like Marvel and DC and everything like that. So that is interesting because I would not personally do that. I would, in all honesty, I'd probably watch Godzilla's Revenge over Godzilla Raids Again, in all honesty. But I would watch Godzilla Raids Again over Final Wars. And then Jonathan saying, no, I won't leave. And then Godzilla Train 1954 is in a category by itself. Without it, we wouldn't have anything else. And I love it for that. But with that being said, I probably go back to see it as often as I do. Exactly. And then Leslie, bruh. And then Gojira851, Godzilla Raids Again is wonderful. Not sorry. Hey, you gotta love your banana oil. And then Sunzilla 2008, what's going on? And then Gojira851, you need a nap. Godzilla Train 1090, Godzilla Raids Again is on the back of my Godzilla list. Godzilla versus the Sea Monster is a much better film than Raids. Okay. So, see, we're having some good conversations here. I am glad. And I'm glad Leslie's here to enjoy the conversation with us because I feel we're going to be sharing a bunch of laughs. Let's make episode 49. Guys, this is like episode 50 material right here. What are we doing? But hey, let's make this episode a banger. So next week's episode 50. Episode 50. 50 episodes of Kaiju Chill O'Clock already. Blows my mind that we've already blown through 50 episodes, basically. Sunzilla 2008. He must have thought it was. He must have thought it was a gun. Taking a quote there from Godzilla versus Gigan. But yes, you guys. Jonathan, I'd watch Son of Godzilla before Godzilla Raids Again. I can agree with that. And that's just because Raids Again, like Godzilla Train 1090 said, Godzilla Raids Again, it's on the back of my Godzilla list also. It's not really a film that, again, I go out of my way to watch. You know what I mean? Like religiously, I guess you could use that word. I grew up with the Showa series, and that tells you a lot too. And it's like still Godzilla 1954 and Godzilla Raids Again, I don't throw on a lot. If you guys want to know, since we're on the topic, out of the Showa series, what do I watch quite often, I want to say? Let's see. Mothra versus Godzilla, for one. I throw on, not regularly, but, more than others. Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, a little bit. Now, Godzilla versus Monster Zero, Invasion of Astro Monster. I watched that movie a lot. If you want to put within the span of a year, I probably watched Godzilla versus Monster Zero at least maybe 5 to 6 times, maybe 7 times a year. I really do enjoy Godzilla versus Monster Zero. That is one I grew up with, and that is in my top 10. That actually is my number 10 pick, is Godzilla versus Monster Zero. Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, again, I probably watch that, 5 to 6 times a year maybe. Destroy All Monsters, that one's probably like a 7 to 9 times a year movie that I watch. I love Destroy All Monsters. Godzilla vs. Hedorah is kind of high up there too. Godzilla vs. Megalon, I watch pretty often, I want to say. If Tim is still here in the chat, I think Tim can actually say that I do watch Godzilla vs. Megalon quite a bit. Because there's been a few times that Tim has come over, and that's been one of the movies that I've had on. And I feel like Tim's come over. There was like a period of time there where Tim, I want to say maybe 3 or 4 times Tim has been over, and I've been watching Godzilla vs. Megalon, so that tells you that there. The Mechagodzilla movies to close out the Showa series as well, those are kind of high up on my list too. I enjoy watching those a lot. So out of the Showa series, those are the movies that I probably watch the most. So that's a good chunk of it, really. Leslie, Raids Again over Sea Monster. That's picking a vacation at a retirement home than Hawaii. And then Gojira851. Sometimes I like steak. Sometimes I like lobster. Raids Again versus Sea Monster debate. Okay. And then Sunzilla 2008 just putting in a line from Final Wars there. Gigan, rise! Which is one of the highlights of Final Wars for me. I do enjoy that. I enjoy that line very much. Goji 2001, I am excited for G-Fest. Less than a month away. G-Fest it's right around the corner, and I know a lot of people are gearing up for it. I'm excited that you're excited. Everybody have an absolute atomic blast of a time at G-Fest. Sorry I can't be there. And then Sunzilla 2008, not gonna lie, if they ended the series with Terror of Mechagodzilla, I would have been satisfied. So, like, if Godzilla just ended, period, after Terror, I mean, it would have been what it would have been, I would have settled for that, too, because Terror of Mechagodzilla has a pretty decent ending for, ending the Showa era of Godzilla. You got Godzilla going off into the ocean, into the sun setting, and the music and melody and stuff like that. It's a good closer for the Showa Godzilla era. I do agree with that. But we got 9 people on in here, 6 likes. Again, guys, thank you very much for being here with me, Godzilla Fan Freaks Live, for Kaiju Chill O'Clock, episode 49. Don't forget to atomic blast that like button. Helps out the YouTube algorithm with the show and all that good stuff. Today, we're talking about Godzilla movies and what we would pick to watch over what. This is a great topic. You know, it started off with one thing and developed into another, and that's what I like. And we're just having a great, fun time. I have Mothra versus Godzilla on in the background, specifically the dubbed version. I did touch on earlier in the show that the Criterion Collection, even though as great of a collection as that is, for somebody like me who grew up with the dubbed versions of the films, I prefer dubbed. Whenever I throw on a Godzilla movie, 85% of the time, it's the dubbed version. There is a very small 15% chance that it will be subbed. I do still enjoy both versions of, watching Godzilla dubbed and subbed. I enjoy both, but I do prefer dubbed over sub. And with the Criterion Collection, the Mothra vs. Godzilla is only the Japanese version. So that is why it's good to hold on to like your classic media DVD releases so you get both versions. And then so if you ever feel like watching the dubbed version of Mothra vs. Godzilla, bam, I got you covered. I actually do prefer the dubbed for Mothra vs. Godzilla, mainly because of one scene. I talked about it earlier, but I'll talk about it again here. I really did enjoy the scene where the Japanese pretty much call in the Americans for help, and the Americans have their battleships coming in, and they have like this new missile that they want to test against Godzilla and see if it'll work. So I actually like that whole bit. I actually think it's pretty fun. So there's my opinion on that. Sunzilla 2008, in my opinion, Terror of Mechagodzilla is the best Showa Godzilla movie besides Gojira and Astro Monster. I agree with you there, just because Terror of Mechagodzilla is my number 1 favorite Godzilla movie. I absolutely love Terror of Mechagodzilla. It is my favorite. I might actually watch Terror of Mechagodzilla tonight. And I think Yasi and Tim are coming over. So Tim and Yasi, don't be surprised if I have a Godzilla movie on the TV when you guys come over. Goji 2001. You get to meet Don Fry and Yumiko. So excited. That's awesome, dude. I've met Don Fry. Great guy. And then Lucy Collected DVD. Nah, I got VHS, man. I wish I still had all my old VHS tapes. I wish I still had all my old Godzilla VHS tapes. I don't. They got lost to time, sadly. Godzilla Train 1090. That's all of us. That's all of us for that scene. Okay, so other people like that scene too. I personally haven't really heard anyone discuss that scene very much. I wonder if that even could be a segment in like a future video talking about this movie. I believe it would be, because I really do enjoy that whole scene. That's what really makes the dub for me. I enjoy the dub in general, but that added scene, I just highly enjoy it. Leslie, the series ending with terror, so no 84, 89, 91 GMK Monsterverse. As awesome as Terror of Mechagodzilla is, I still wouldn't go that far. Well, Leslie, if Toho decided to do that, who are we to tell them that they were wrong and they should have continued it? That would have been out of our hands. And then Godzilla Train 1090, I wouldn't either, Leslie. As great as Terror is, it would be a tad disappointed if it ended there. I do agree, and all we can do is just be thankful that Toho has embraced Godzilla over all these years, giving us the Heisei era, giving us the Millennium era, the Reiwa era with Shin, that Legendary Pictures and everybody saw the potential of a Monsterverse, and it's doing not amazingly well. It's nothing like Marvel or DC. It's not one of those juggernauts, But you know what? It has a fan base and it makes them enough profit to keep putting out those movies. So no, I like Leslie has said in the past, and I highly agree with it. As a fan base, I just don't necessarily like it when people pick things apart too much. You know what I mean? It's okay to be picky. We all have our favorites, our likes over dislikes, what we would watch over other films. But at the end of the day, we should all just be happy as a fan base that we are getting new content, new movies, games, figures, whatever it is. Because you know what? They don't have to. They could totally just stop Godzilla if they wanted to. You know what I mean? So no, we should always just be happy as a fan base that we are getting what we are getting. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Godzilla Train 1090 and Mothra versus Godzilla Showa is, or the Godzilla versus Mothra show is next year. Just saying. But Leslie and the cam crew did touch on it earlier this year. I'll have to check that out because I must have missed that where you guys talked about it. Sunzilla 2008, Leslie, what I'm saying is that Godzilla doesn't need to die in order there to be a final movie. I know he didn't die in Final Wars or Terror, but Terror over Final Wars. That's what Sunzilla's saying. Sunzilla 2008, I prefer Godzilla walking into the ocean with the sunset than him dying. I think a lot of us prefer that. But who knows? I do feel like one day, if they ever do stop the Godzilla train, it could be after all of us current Godzilla fans are gone. Who knows? Godzilla could be eventually killed off permanently. You know, who knows? And I feel like if they were to truly end Godzilla, that would have to be... They would have to do an ending better than Godzilla versus Destroya. You know what I mean? Like... I don't know how much more of a tearjerker of Godzilla dying you could do than Godzilla versus Destroya, but if Godzilla was to end permanently, I feel like it would have to be a movie to where they would actually be like, okay, this is it, guys, like this is it. And then Sunzilla just saying, and Terror nailed it perfectly of Godzilla going off. I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Great conversations, you guys. Great conversation so far. Anyway, going on into other topics that kind of happened, announcements and stuff this week. Cavity Colors. If you guys don't know, Cavity Colors put out their Heisei Godzilla collection with a variety of different t-shirts. Now, if you guys can't tell my response already, I kind of have something to say about it. I didn't hate it. You know, I didn't hate all of it. Let's put that. And I don't want to say hate because hate's a harsh word. Dislike. I love Cavity Colors. I love what they do. But there has been a few of their collections that I feel have missed marks a little bit or been a mixed bag. This one's kind of on the mixed bagged end. Personally, I really only liked the Batra artwork design and preferably the tie-dye Batra t-shirt. And then the Rodan one was pretty cool. I liked the majestic of Rodan flying above the clouds. You know, Rodan in the red Japanese kanji and stuff like that. I thought the Batra and the Rodan were probably the best shirts out of the bunch. Everything else just seemed really, like, generic. And I don't want to say boring, but to me, boring. You know, the artwork is great, but I don't know. I just feel like this collection was lacking. The Space Godzilla one, especially. I thought Cavity Colors was going to do something a little bit more with Space Godzilla. but even I didn't really like the Space Godzilla t-shirt all that much. The Godzilla t-shirt's cool, but again, a little too generic for my taste. I'm probably going to pick up the Batra and the Rodan t-shirts eventually. The King Ghidorah t-shirt was all right, but Tim, let me catch up on your guys' comments before I get to Tim's here. Let me see. Goji 2001. If they do a final Godzilla movie, they should have every single Godzilla monster. Yeah, that'd be one heck of a lineup. Leslie, so Sunzilla, if Godzilla dies next year in Godzilla vs. Kong, what are you gonna do? And then Goji 2001, according to the leaks, he doesn't. Tim saying, bro, that purple tie-dye Space Godzilla shirt is cool. If you like it, you like it. I just thought the Space Godzilla artwork was lacking something. I was just, you have these awesome kaiju, do something more than just a generic profile. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what I got out of the Cavity Colors Heisei collection lineup. I like them, but I really only like the Batra and the Rodan. I really didn't like anything else. And that's okay, because that's easier financial-wise for me, because I have to buy less. Gojira851, he just got the Godzilla 94, and I'm good for now. Maybe the tie-dye Space Godzilla in the future. All right. And then Godzilla Train 1090, I skipped all of them, honestly. I'll wait for the next drop, ideally after G-Fest. That is fair. A lot of Godzilla fans right now are saving money for G-Fest. That is fair. Tim, true. Show all those back crystals. Exactly. Like, do something like crazy wild with Space Godzilla. He's from space. Do him like flying through space, I don't know, doing something cool, tearing apart an asteroid, tearing apart Mogira with telekinetic powers. I don't know. Like, do something kind of cool. Or here's a design right off the top of my head. Do something with Space Godzilla in space, but he's like, blow him up to massive, and then have him like his hands like around the Earth. Or something like that, because that was Space Godzilla's motive in the movie. He wanted to take over the planet. So, do something like that, but in all honesty, the tie-dye is cool, but I don't know, I felt like the artwork was just really generic with this line. Again, the Batra and the Rodan did it for me. Nothing else really did. So, there's my spiel and opinion on the Cavity Colors Heisei collection. Now, I'm always looking forward to seeing what else Cavity Colors is going to be doing, because they're not stopping there. They're continuing with their Godzilla Legacy series, so we just have to wait and see what comes next now. But I do want to pick up the Batra tie-dye and the Rodan for sure. So those will be good pickups, and we'll just see what else they have going on in the future. Sunzilla, I highly doubt that Godzilla is going to die in the new Empire. Leslie saying, I probably punched a hole in the wall because the 93 Mechagodzilla was not featured. I didn't punch a hole in the wall, but that just leaves it open for they're probably going to give Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla from 93 its own like lineup. You know how they do individual collections for like certain movies so far. Hopefully Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla will be in its own lineup of collection. I'm hoping the same thing for Space Godzilla also. I hope the Space Godzilla movie gets its own like collection, because again, I feel like from an artistic point, there is a lot you can do with Space Godzilla. So that's just my 2 cents. And then Leslie saying, yeah, being doubtful of Godzilla dying next year is valid. Then again, we thought that Godzilla 2014 was going to feature Godzilla more, and yet here we are. Oh my goodness. And then Sunzilla 2008. I do think Godzilla will die in the new movie coming out this November. I don't think he will, Sunzilla, because the new movie that Toho's doing, you have to remember it's a prequel to the 1954. So it predates 1954. So I don't know how they're going to do a prequel where he dies. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. No, we hardly know anything about the movie that Toho's doing. All we have is the logo of the G. That's really all we got. Sunzilla 2008 seems, yes, it is a prequel. I guess you didn't know that. Now you know. Yes, this predates 1954. So the new movie that Toho is doing predates the first one. Bobby Reynolds, what's going on? And then Gojira 851, even when Godzilla dies, he lives. That is true. Because what is the famous line at the end of Godzilla 2000? Godzilla is inside every one of us, or each and every one of us, or whatever. Because Godzilla lives on through all of us fans. Right? And then Leslie, Gojira 851 said, go back to sleep. And then Sunzilla 2008, I thought it'd be like Shin Godzilla, where he ignores every movie, including 54. Oh no, it's nothing like Shin Godzilla. And then Gojira 851 saying, "Will do." Yeah, no, this new one predates 54, so I don't know if it's been clarified if it's a prequel, but it is noted that this predates 1954. So whether it is going to be a prequel, I don't know how they're going to... Nobody knows what they're doing at this point. Again, we know nothing. And you know what? I like that. Because it keeps you wondering. It keeps you in suspense until they release a trailer or whatever it may be. You know what I mean? Like, it leaves us all in anticipation and excitement. And you know what? I personally enjoy that. I would like, as far as possible, don't give us any trailers, nothing. And if you do give us any trailers, do not spoil a darn thing. Give us just like a 15 to 30 second teaser trailer. I'm good with that. I would love to go into this new Toho Godzilla movie with a completely open mind, no expectations, no idea what's going to happen, because at that point you get your full, honest reaction of what's going on. You know what I mean? And I would absolutely love for every Godzilla fan to experience this new movie that way. And then, of course, get the chance to see it 2, 3, 4 more times. That way you can, regulate it through your head, understand. I feel like that would be the best absolute outcome for this new movie. Don't give us anything till the movie drops. Would love that. Bobby Reynolds, I got to ask, who's the guy on your toy review thumbnail? Are you talking about the Figure Talk Tuesdays, Bobby Reynolds? That's the Ancient Aliens guy from that meme, Aliens. I forget his name, but that he's on the show Ancient Aliens, and that guy he's, as Nick Adams from the Monster Report would say, he's bonkers. But he's from the show Ancient Aliens, so he's the guy, Aliens, And I just thought that would be a good thumbnail for the Figure Talk Tuesday videos. Because figures, Godzilla Train 1090, we'll know more in August. Is August when they're going to reveal a little bit more? Okay, I did not know that. Godzilla Train 1090, as I get tongue-tied with your name, thank you very much for that bit of information. I did not know that. Lucy Collected Jonathan saying Godzilla doesn't die. Even when Godzilla dies, Godzilla doesn't die. You are right about that. And then Sunzilla 2008, you know why I don't like Ibira? Because I hate shrimp. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I don't like spiders. I'm not the hugest fan of Kamunga either, you know. So, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. And then Jonathan posted a name in the comments. I don't know what Jonathan, what do you mean? So what does the name mean? GOA? Jonathan, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Bobby Reynolds, Godzilla dies. He said I'll be back. And then Sunzilla 2008. What the heck? Oh, he's saying, there's a big spider behind you. His comment got broken up, but then there was another comment in between, so I was trying to put the two together. Yeah, you're funny because I can see behind me. So, Goji 2001. Apparently people think I look like the Ancient Aliens guy. Interesting. Okay. And then Jonathan saying the Ancient Alien. Oh, he said that's the name of the Ancient Aliens guy. Thank you, Jonathan. I don't even know the guy's name, but see, his name is a mouthful. I don't even know how to pronounce that. And then Gojira851, try sauteed shrimp with chicken Alfredo. Oh, man. And then Sunzilla 2008 saying, dang it. But, yeah, no, you guys, great conversation so far. So let's see, where were we? We are on cavity colors. The next topic of today that I want to discuss, which usually we get topics done pretty early, but we've just been having great discussions, hanging out, chilling, you know? Kaiju Chill O'Clock, it's about what it is. And then Goji 2001, what big spider? And then Lucy Collected, oh, now Jonathan's going to teach me how to say this guy's name. And he says, first word, Giorgio, and then you're on your own. And then Leslie, I don't get why y'all are so against Godzilla dying. Tony Stark died, and y'all still going to work, living your lives. Jesus. Oh, Leslie. Yeah, I'm not against Godzilla dying. You know, if Godzilla dies, he dies. You know, again, it's not our decision what Toho wants to do. You know, Toho has the final say in everything, so it's up to them. Sunzilla 2008, Godzilla vs. Biollante equaled beautiful piece of artwork plus best Heisei movie. You know, looking at the Heisei lineup over on my shelf right now, I want to agree with you because I really do enjoy Godzilla vs. Biollante. And in my opinion, I would also say that it is the best out of the Heisei. And then Bobby Reynolds saying, what if I get to invite Tyrone Magnus onto my stream? I don't know if Tyrone Magnus would be into a Kaiju Chill O'Clock at all. Does that guy even still make videos? I know he did videos with like Marlon Webb back in the day, but I haven't heard Tyrone Magnus in a long time. Godzilla Train 1090, if he dies, he dies. Taking the line from Rocky there. Gojira51 saying to Leslie, Godzilla is bigger than Tony. That's true. And then Sunzilla, not artwork, just work. Okay. Whenever I really like a Godzilla movie, just because of the way they are made with miniatures, you know, suitmation, tokusatsu, to me they are works of art. So that's just the way that I specify certain Godzilla movies. Gojira51 and then saying that me and Adrian are pulling a Drago. Yep, from Rocky there. And then Sun just saying he's not against Godzilla dying. And then good catch, Matt. Yep. And then Leslie saying to Gojira851, Godzilla is bigger than Tony. The numbers dictate otherwise. Sorry, not sorry. and then Gojira851 saying Tyrone does daily videos. I did not know that. You know, I must be out of the loop with Tyrone stuff. And then Lucy Collected. Oh my goodness. I should invite the Ancient Aliens dude to be on a video. I don't know. He might enjoy talking Godzilla. I don't know. I don't know how I would go about that though, or how much I would probably have to pay him. Goji 2001, according to some rumors, they're going to bring back Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. I wonder how that's even going to happen. And then Gojira851, Tony's 5'11", Godzilla's 400 feet tall. And then Sunzilla 2008, I like GMK, but it's overrated. Really? You think GMK is overrated? Usually I hear the opposite, because I personally feel GMK is underrated. Because out of all the Millennium series, GMK is actually my favorite. I'm not a big Millennium era fan. You know, Godzilla 2000 was good. Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, but I did really enjoy GMK. GMK is probably my favorite. GMK is my favorite. Godzilla Train 1090, GMK overrated? I always thought GMK was underrated in my opinion. But GMK is my favorite from the Millennium era. So, but personally, I don't think it's overrated at all. I don't think GMK is overrated at all. I think GMK is underrated, really. Let's see here. Sunzilla is just saying, or Jonathan saying, just a suggestion. Oh, it's a good suggestion. Who knows? We'll see what happens. Sunzilla is saying, although GMK Godzilla looks freaking amazing, GMK Godzilla does have a cool design. Ooh, Hardzilla 8554, GMK is overrated. And then there's Godzilla Train 1090s, GMK overrated. Sunzilla, not gonna lie, I like Godzilla against Mechagodzilla better than GMK, plus all the other Millenniums. Okay, so Godzilla against Mechagodzilla is your favorite. That's fair. It's a good movie, but it's not my favorite out of the Millennium series. Jonathan, with all the multiverse and timeline shenanigans, it'd be easy to have a version of Iron Man / Tony Stark show up from another timeline. That's true. Hardzilla 8554, SOS was your favorite Millennium film. And then Gojira851, I'm Zen on all Millennium films. Okay. Godzilla Train 1090, GMK is my 4th favorite Godzilla movie. How is GMK overrated? Please explain. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Leslie saying, Gojira851, if you really want that G-Fest a Kane autograph, you better shut the hell Oh, man. Bobby Reynolds, I'm 50-50 on characters dying. It depends on the story and if the character's death earns it or not. Yeah, that is true. And then Bobby Reynolds saying GMK is my favorite film. So Bobby Reynolds' favorite Godzilla film is GMK. Interesting. See, guys, we're just going from topic to topic to topic. You know, I haven't even talked about the second topic that I was supposed to talk about for the day. But we'll get that done, I guess, after we're done with this here. Jonathan, part of why they did all the Marvel Multiverse timeline stuff, so they had an opening to bring any character or actor back they wanted. That's actually a good point, Jonathan. That is actually a good point. And then Sunzilla 2008, because people are saying it's the best Millennium. Heck, even the best Godzilla movie, and I don't see how. I've never heard GMK been called the best Godzilla movie. I wonder if maybe that could be like on a Reddit forum or something, like a group of people together, and it might have just seemed like a lot, but I don't know if I've ever heard GMK praised as one of the best. Again, you hear that about this movie, Mothra vs. Godzilla, being praised as one of the best movies. Yes. But I don't really hear that about GMK. Again, I don't even hear too much about GMK being liked all that much. So I'm wondering where you got the impression it's overrated. Not that there's anything wrong with that. If you think it's overrated, that's fine. Everybody's entitled to your opinion, not saying you're wrong. A lot of us are just curious to know why. Because I personally don't think it's overrated. I think GMK is underrated, really. I've always said, and a lot of people agree with me, GMK should have kept the original Monster Cast. GMK probably would have been loads better, and GMK probably would have been in the talks as one of the best Godzilla movies, maybe, if GMK kept its original Monster Cast, which should have been Godzilla, Baragon, Varan, and Anguirus. And instead, they subbed out Varan and Anguirus for Ghidorah and Mothra, but they kept Baragon. But in all honesty, I would have loved to see GMK with the original Monster Cast. I think they should have kept that. The reason that they subbed out Varan and Anguirus for Mothra and Ghidorah was pretty much just to make more money. Mothra and Ghidorah were more popular. So they were they just did it just because they wanted to use more popular, well-known monsters. But in all honesty, they really, really should have kept Varan and Anguirus with Baragon. I think that would have made GMK absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion. And then Godzilla Train 1090, he's asking Sunzilla 2008, what do you see wrong with it? We had a great Godzilla action, a good character story, and solid soundtrack. What is not to love? It is true. GMK is all really well-rounded. Sunzilla, okay, Mothra vs. Godzilla is the most overrated Godzilla movie. Oh, man! If Leslie's still here, he's about to tear you apart. I'm just warning you right now, Sunzilla, but take it with a grain of salt. Leslie's just going to be messing around, but Leslie's going to tear you apart for that one. Just going to say. The fact that you had the gall to say that, why Leslie's here, just be prepared. Leslie's going to rip into you right now. And then Godzilla Train 1090 saying Leslie's wife would fight someone over that. Yes, because Leslie's wife loves GMK. Leslie saying Godzilla X Mechagodzilla / Tokyo SOS equals the cure for insomnia. And then Rich from Wisconsin saying GMK rocks. The story mixed with technology, supernatural, human frailty, and did some of the, as some of the old Showa movies. Great sum up right there, Rich. Great sum up. Sunzilla, People, GMK is saying one of the best. I've never heard it being not one of the best. That's interesting because I've never heard GMK as regarded as one of the best. Gojira51 saying Leslie throwing potatoes again. And then Godzilla Train 1090 saying, what? How? Mothra vs. Godzilla is the best Showa film. How is it overrated? Oh, man, we're having some great discussions here in the live. Thank you guys so much for this. I'm having a great time. Hope everybody else is too. Again, we're all just having fun. We're not pointing fingers. We're not holding people at finger gunpoint. We're just having fun. Just to clarify that, let's make sure everybody's all on the same page, that we are just having fun discussions as Godzilla fans. We're chilling. We're chilling. Let's see. Sunzilla, although Mothra vs. Godzilla's soundtrack is, in my opinion, the best in the franchise. Okay, so you're giving it some praise. That's good. Lucy Collected, none of the actors wanted to crawl around on their knees either. Oh, man. That's true because Varan, Anguirus, and Baragon are all, what's that word for four-legged animals? Quadrupeds? Perlittle, something like that. I don't know. And then Sun's still saying, "Oh shoot, I'm dead." And then GMK is one of his favorites, but not in his top 5. Okay, interesting. And then Bobby Reynolds, GMK is the closest to a horror film with Godzilla looking like a Deadite from Evil Dead. That is true. That is true. Guys, we got 12 people on in here. Thank you so much. I think I missed a comment. Bobby Reynolds here said Avatar and Dark Knight Rises is much more overrated than GMK. I agree with Avatar because you know what? Ever since the first Avatar came out and people praised it and it's like the highest grossing movie of all time, I don't get the whole deal with Avatar. That's just me. I don't see the appeal of Avatar. I don't see why it's so great and cool. I don't even own Avatar. That tells you how much I liked it, you know, because for me to own a movie on physical media, I have to really, really like it. We got 13 people on in here, 7 likes. Guys, thank you again so much for being here with me, Godzilla Fan Freaks Live, for Kaiju Chill O'Clock, episode 49. Don't forget to atomic blast that like button if you have not already. We've just been having great fun discussions and everything so far. And before I continue on, Jonathan, quadruped, there you go. That's the word. And then Gojira 2001, has the best soundtrack. Godzilla Final Wars is the best movie in my opinion. Oof. I got a hard disagree with you there. Not a Final Wars fan, but I'm sure a lot of you know that already. Godzilla Train 1090, so much blasphemy today. Shaking my head, The Dark Knight Rises is incredible. Jonathan, Avatar is amazing to look at for the digital effects. The story is just barely okay. I watched it once, never seen the sequel. I never watched the sequel, which just came out not too long ago, right? And I haven't seen the first Avatar probably since it came out. Yeah, no, I just never was big on Avatar. Even the effects and everything, like, yeah, cool, it was really digital, and you know, all the CGI and everything I guess was groundbreaking for that time, but at the same time, didn't really care for it. Let's see. Sunzilla saying Leslie is gonna kill him whenever he says, but I'd rather watch King Kong versus Godzilla than Mothra versus Godzilla. Interesting. So you'd rather watch King Kong versus Godzilla than Mothra versus Godzilla. You know what? I personally enjoy 1962 because I love Godzilla 1962, so I do enjoy King Kong versus Godzilla. That is another favorite of mine. I enjoy it a lot. Oh, let's see. And then Hardzilla 8554 saying Final Wars, WTF. And then Goji 2001, Godzilla Final Wars is the best movie ever made. You're trolling now. You're trolling hard because you're about to lose this battle. And then Bobby Reynolds saying Godzilla Final Wars, in his opinion, is the best comic book type movie. I see what Bobby Reynolds is saying, and I can agree with that. Do I still like Final Wars? No. But I will that. Godzilla Train 1090, King Kong vs. Godzilla was one of my first films, but I disagree with that. Okay. And then Sunzilla 2008, King Goji equals GOAT. I have to agree with you on that one. I do agree with you on that one because Godzilla 1962, King Goji is my favorite. I love Godzilla 1962. My absolute number one favorite Godzilla is 62. Jonathan saying again he likes Final Wars. And then Bobby Reynolds, what Godzilla films do you... Whoa, Bobby Reynolds, your comment is like all over the place. Let me try to fix it. What Godzilla films do you like that could be considered comic book type movies. That's a hard one for me to decipher right now because I have to go through over every Godzilla movie in my head. But really, I do agree with you on what you're saying about Final Wars being in that type of category. Jonathan just with his smiley face. And then Goji 2001, I am not lying. Godzilla Final Wars is the best Godzilla movie ever. Oh, man. And then Jonathan, headed to work. Catch you later, man. Hey, Jonathan, later, Tater. Have a good one, buddy. And then Leslie, that's fine that he prefers King Kong versus Godzilla over Mothra versus Godzilla. I mean, Godzilla loses in that movie, too. So that's understandable. And yeah, I'm opening up that can of worms. And then Sunzilla, Bio Goji / Ghidorah Goji is your personal favorite. That's another Godzilla suit that was a lot of people's personal favorites. I want to say the 89 suit is my second favorite Godzilla. So I have 62 and then I have 89. Those are my top two favorite Godzillas. 62 and 89. Great discussions though so far, guys. And then Goji 2001 just saying Final Wars best movie period, not lying. Okay, guys, Goji 2001 likes Final Wars. I mean, hey, if you like it, you like it. That's fine. I personally just do not like Final Wars. Austin Creations, late to join today. Are we sharing our Godzilla hot takes? Pretty much. Austin, I don't know if you ever go back and rewatch the part of the show that you might have missed, but we've just been having great discussions today. It's kind of just been kind of fluid, talking about favorite movies, what we would rather watch over other ones, stuff like that. Talked a little bit about Cavity Colors, recent drop. I have Mothra versus Godzilla 1964 on in the background right now. And before I catch up on your guys' comments, because I still see you guys commenting, I want to get into the second topic of today before we run out of time. Because guys got to remember, Kaiju Chill Clock is only a 2-hour show, usually. Sometimes it can go a little bit longer if it's needed. But we are an hour and about 17 minutes in. It's about to be an hour and 17 minutes right now. So let me get the second topic out of the way today. Want to talk a little bit about Mondo. If you guys didn't see, Mondo released their first Rodan final figure. And I had some things to say, and some others also agreed with me. And before we get back into the comments, I see you guys commenting. That's fine. I'll catch up on those in a minute. I just want to talk about this topic and get it out of the way. So if you guys remember, I did a video talking about Mondo. And then I did a video about an update on Mondo since Funko bought them out and took them over. And I pretty much read a whole statement that Mondo put. And Mondo said in their statement that they see that people are having to go to a secondhand market to get certain items that they want because Mondo sold them in such small quantities, and they would sell out immediately, if not within minutes, within seconds. And hardly any collectors really got a chance to get, figures from Mondo. And a lot of them went to scalpers and their bots just automatically purchasing stuff so then they can flip them on eBay or other internet outlets later on for double, triple the price. So they acknowledged that. They noticed that. And the only other issue now is in their statement, Mondo / Funko said, we will be bumping up the produced numbers of units that they make for figures and vinyls and whatnot to where they'll still be considered limited, but not ultra limited, so that collectors have a chance to get them. And here we are. They released their Rodan figure limited to 150. They only are going to make 150 of those, and that sold out again in minutes. I did see a lot of collectors did get the chance to nab them, but at the same time, why did you give us a statement and now you're kind of lying on what you said you were going to do, because now clearly you're not doing it. So I was kind of disappointed with that they basically kind of just straight up lied to our faces just to, again, that whole statement was basically just damage control. I don't know how much of it was truthful. At this point, it doesn't seem like most of it was. So it was really disappointing to see that Mondo only did 150 of this Rodan. And the colorway was amazing. It was beautiful. But just because of things that I have coming up here at the end of the month, I have to go to Colorado for Goji Fan 93. He's getting hitched. He's getting married. He asked me to be there to be one of his groomsmen. So I got to go to Colorado here the week after this next week, and for his wedding. So I have money tied up for, place to stay, stuff like that. So I really am not buying anything right now. That Rodan, though, if I had the funds available, I probably would have picked it up because it was a beautiful color. But I'm just going to have to wait for another release, and hopefully the numbers are a little higher on the next release. Because it was a cool Rodan figure. The sculpt was really cool. The colorway was really neat. It has a little Mothra larva that's actually like magnetic, from what they said, that like attaches to the figure and is like on Rodan's shoulder peeking over. So, I mean, it's great. It's fantastic. But again, I just hate that they gave us that statement with false information saying we're still going to be doing limited numbers, but not ultra limited numbers. So again, it's like, limited, you could still do maybe like 400 to 500 pieces and it'd still be limited. Heck, you could limit a figure to 800 units and that would still be limited. You could do 1,000 and that would still be limited. But 150, that's just too small of a number for everybody to try to get a chance to get it who wants one. And I do know that there are some collectors who missed out. Eric Strolp from Bearded Kaiju Reviews and Unboxings, he missed out on the Rodan. And he was in the process of getting it, but then the website hiccuped on him, and then he missed out. So some collectors still did miss their chance to pick up that Rodan. But that's just what I wanted to talk about with Mondo really quick, is that whole statement that they gave us a few months ago, it kind of means nothing right now. Because if they were true to their word, this Rodan would not have been limited to only 150. I'm just saying. So they kind of lied. And that's not good. They think collectors were going to forget about their statement. Think again, because I did a whole video on that statement. So now let me catch up on your guys' comments here. All right, where am I at? Let's see. Austin Creations said he was late to join. Okay, Leslie Chambers, Godzilla Final Wars is the best film to come out in 2004. And then Sunzilla 2008, Godzilla vs. Biollante over Final Wars. Stop trolling. I watch Biollante all day. Bobby Reynolds, 80s and 90s action films are like comic book movies as well. Yes, they are. Rambo 2, 3, Commando, other films like that. Yep, that is true. Oh no! Goji 2001, Final Wars over the Heisei Gamera trilogy? Out of here, right now. Leave a like, atomic blast the like button, then leave. No, I'm just kidding. Man, that's a stretch. Oof. Sunzilla, okay, now you're trolling. And then he said, nope, not trolling. And then Bobby Reynolds said, maybe on a future Kaiju graveyard shift, you could have Yosh and Lawrence. Yes, that is a possibility to have them on the show. It just depends on if the schedules line up. That's all it depends on. Austin Creations, optimistically speaking, the only thing I could think of that is released was planned out before that statement was made. That I heard somebody say that too, that maybe that release was planned before the statement. I did hear that as well. But at the same time, if you have the means to bump up numbers, which they do, especially since now Funko is a part of them, Funko could add some extra funding to have a few more hundred made at least. That would have been nice. I still don't think there really was an excuse for them only to do 150 unless it was in a contract. And again, before the statement, that is a good thought, but I don't know. I still think it wouldn't be that hard to either negotiate or just bump up the numbers of the units. So it's hard to say. Austin Creation saying, that being said, I definitely agree. 150 is way too small of a number for something that's not even going to be a con exclusive. Even con exclusives don't even run that low. Like San Diego Comic-Con and other Comic-Cons and stuff, they do have like exclusive figures or posters, stuff like that that's made, but I don't think they're ever in the numbers of 150. Like sometimes I feel like those might be like 200 to 500 units. You know what I mean? Because then those are also really expensive too. Goji 2001, Final Wars over the original Star Wars trilogy. All right, guys, I'm shutting down the stream. Gojira 2001 needs to be stopped. I'll catch you guys at the next one. Bye. No, I'm just kidding. Man, you're spitting some blasphemy, Gojira 2001. But hey, you know what? If it's your preference, it's your preference. Again, all we can do is disagree. Agree to disagree. There we go. Bobby Reynolds. Yosh shows up at Godzilla Fan Freaks house and said, "Yo, are you Fan Freaks? It's Kaiju Chill O'Clock, and I'm calling you out." Godzilla Fan Freaks said, "It's not Kaiju Chill O'Clock yet." Yosh said, "It's by my watch." Oh, man. But, we're doing pretty good, guys, on time. We're an hour and 26 minutes in. Talked about the two topics, which is basically just Cavity Colors release and then Mondo's release of the figure. Just been chatting, talking Godzilla movies and films, what we like over others, favorites, what we don't like. And that's it. Do we just spend the last of the show walking around the collection room like we usually do? I think we should. So let me go ahead and turn the camera here. Let's see. Gojira 2001, Final Wars over the Godfather trilogy. My wife hasn't seen Final Wars, but my wife would automatically disagree with you because my wife really loves the Godfather movies. Those are pretty much some of her favorite movies of all time. So she would disagree with you. Let me go ahead and turn the camera here so we avoid footage. Godzilla is fighting the Mothra larva right now, as you guys saw a corner of the TV there. And bam, there we are. Fred! What's going on? Fred's here just enjoying Kaiju Chill O'Clock, chilling, hanging out. I don't know what the heck he's looking at. Fred, you're weird. But yeah, so let's just take some time. Oh no, footage! And let's just go into the collection room. Anything you guys ever want to take a closer look at anything? You guys have a question on a figure? Please feel free to ask. Anything is open for discussion. So if you guys see a figure you guys want me to talk about a little bit, you want to know a little bit more about it, just let me know. Ask me any questions. Let's keep discussions going here. Bobby Reynolds, favorite Back to the Future moments. You know what? I'm not big on the Back to the Future movies, so I really don't have any favorite Back to the Future moments. That's just me, you know. Got my Reptilicus t-shirt on today, so always sporting a Kaiju t-shirt of some sort around here. And then Goji 2001 saying Kitty, Bobby Reynolds, Final Wars over any of the Leprechaun films. Agree. I do agree with that one because the Leprechaun movies are bad. I don't really like the Leprechaun movies, so I would watch Godzilla Final Wars over any of the Leprechaun films. I got you on that one. And yeah, we're doing pretty good, guys. So we're just chilling out. We're going to spend the last bit of the show in the collection room. So again, anything you guys might have a question on, you guys want me to talk about a figure, whatever it may be, just feel free to ask. You know, again, if you haven't, Atomic Blast that like button. Appreciate the support as always. Helps out YouTube's algorithm in Kaiju Chill O'Clock showing up in other people's news feeds and stuff like that, because to this day, there are still people who don't know who Godzilla Fan Freaks is. You know, they're like, oh, I never knew your channel existed, or, you know, had no idea. So, Tucson Kaiju Festival news. That stuff's going on. I can give you guys this for the Tucson Kaiju Festival that I'm hosting in November. So far, I have 11 vendors out of 20. Bookman's gave me a limit of 20 vendors, 20 vendors / table spaces. And right now I have 11 out of 20. So, really happy about that, actually, that, we have that many so far. Here is kind of my little sketch list for it. So, I am currently still actively working on things. But, yes, so we have 11 vendors so far for the Tucson Kaiju Festival. So that's really, really good. Only a few, really, there's only a few spots left open. What is that? That'd be 8 spots left open out of 20. I'm still working on hashing out the schedule for the day. As far as panels, trivia, game contests, contests for kids, raffle. Of course, it's going to be raffle. Prizes, all that good stuff. So, still working out some other details, but, progress is being made. Let's see, Sunzilla 2008, talking to Goji 2001. You better take your rose-colored glasses. Final Wars is the second most overrated Godzilla movie. I don't think it would have been a satisfying end to the franchise. Now, I do agree with you, Sunzilla 2008. Final Wars, I do agree, it is overrated. Final Wars is overrated. And I hate that, because Final Wars is terrible. Bobby Reynolds, where did I get that tall Godzilla toy on the floor? Are you talking about this one, or are you talking about this one? So, this over here, Bobby Reynolds, is the large-scale Bandai. Let's just take a seat down here really quick. This here is the large-scale Bandai Godzilla 1964. So you know. Great figure. Fantastic figure. In my opinion, a must-have for any Godzilla collector. From head to toe, it is just a amazing, beautiful, beautiful figure for sure. I absolutely love it. Pull the camera back a little bit. You guys can kind of see the back side of him there. But great figure. You actually get both front and back profiles from this angle due to the reflection. Sunzilla 2008, the kaiju fights are too short. Some of the effects are horrible. Final Wars, I agree. And then Sunzilla also saying, and don't even get me started on the majority of the kaiju designs. Yeah, I didn't like a lot of the kaiju designs from Final Wars. That is another thing about it I did not enjoy. There's not many from Final Wars that I like. I'm not even a big fan of the Godzilla design, and I know a lot of people really like the Final Wars Goji Godzilla design. But anyway, Bobby Reynolds. That was who asked this question. Yeah, Bobby Reynolds asked this question. Anyway, Um, Bobby Reynolds saying Godzilla over the Rego and Riga films. Well, the Rego and Riga films, those are meant to be bad movies. Those were meant to be bad movies. So there's that explanation on that. But anyway, back to this figure that I believe Bobby Reynolds, this is the one you wanted to know about, right? Anyway, this is the large-scale Bandai Godzilla 1964. This is from the movie that we just watched. This is the Mosu Goji. This is the Mothra versus Godzilla Godzilla. So this is just a great, fantastic figure. This is actually the oldest figure in my entire collection. This figure is older than I am, and this figure came in that box. This was the box for this figure. This is pretty much one of the only boxes that I have kept in my collection, and that is because it is such a cool, vintage, unique box. Again, this box is as old as the figure. And we'll get to the age of this figure in a minute, but I mean, this box is just so cool. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. And that's just what this figure came in. He just came in this box, and it's plastered with Godzilla, King of the Monsters, all the way around. Has a profile of the 84 Godzilla there. And it's just such a cool box, and it fits perfectly right here, and it's a collectible in its own right, you know? I absolutely love it. You know, you got the Bandai logo down there and everything. But so yeah, this is the box that figure came in. So this figure I got from a toy show here in Tucson a good number of years ago. And this figure was listed for $500. More than I wanted to spend that day, but I really wanted it. It was actually the coolest collectible at the whole show, especially since it still had the box. You don't usually see that pretty much at all. So I am one of the few collectors who has the box with it. But yeah, so this figure was $500. I couldn't swing it by myself. And this was the year that I met my now current wife. So guys, if you guys know that a girl is for you, this is pretty much when I knew that my wife was my soulmate. We went to that show together because she knew that I liked, you know, collectibles and toys and stuff like that. And so we went to that show together. She knew how much I wanted this figure. We split this figure. This was our first Godzilla figure that we bought together. And because she wanted to see me go home with it, because she knew how much I wanted it. So all together, we split this figure. I paid for $250. She paid for $250. And we took him home. So this is pretty much me and my wife's first Godzilla figure, you know, buying together. And that was only a few months after I met her. We were only dating. No talks of marriage or anything. So this figure is very special to me. I absolutely love it just because it is one of those gems too. It's definitely a Godzilla collectible gem. And something else that you don't see with this figure all too often is, see if I can do it here. He usually won't have the stickers on the bottoms of the feet. And he has the original foot sticker here. As you guys can see, this is Bandai 1988 Japan. That's an original sticker. Everything on this guy is original. No paint touch-ups. The box is from the 1980s. The sticker here from the 1980s. This figure is older than I am. So let's see, 88, 89. This figure came out before Godzilla vs. Biollante. Let's see. This figure is 88, 89, 90, 91, 92. So this figure is like 4 to 5 years older than I am. Because I'm a 92 baby. And if this is 88, yeah, that's 4 to 5 years older than I am. But I absolutely love this figure. So thank you for allowing me to talk about it, Bobby. Appreciate that. But I do love this figure. He does stay on the floor just because the tail and everything. He's a very awkward figure. He's a very awkward figure to place. He really doesn't fit on shelves anywhere. Even if he was here on a top shelf somewhere, he would be very awkward to place because he would have to sit at an angle, which hence he would take up a lot more room. So he would be a shelf hog. So that is why I just have him down here on the floor in the corner over here. That is why he is there. That is his spot. Let me angle him a little bit more. There we go. That's better. So that is my spiel and information I have on that figure. Bobby Reynolds, how tall is it? I do not have a tape measure right now, Bobby, but let me just get you a 6-inch Bandai for scale. So here he is next to a 6-inch Bandai to give you guys scale. He is a big figure. See how I can do this. So there he is with a 6-inch Bandai. That is how big this figure is. He is a big figure. And again, the tail makes him a very long figure. So there is that bit of information for you. That is how tall this figure is. Let's see. Goji 2001, Raiga. I haven't seen Rego. God Raiga versus King Ogra is just bad. And then Goji 2001, it could be Kappa. Okay, yeah, I heard Kappa was pretty bad too. It could have been worse. It could be worse. It could be Kappa. Yeah, I heard Kappa was pretty bad. I never did see Kappa, but I did hear Kappa was pretty bad. But as my camera falls. Or rotates without my permission. Anyway, so that gives you a sense of scale for that figure. Let me put this guy back up here. There we go. All right, guys, we're doing good. Still got a little bit of time left in today's show. Again, thank you all for being here with me, Godzilla Fan Freaks Live, for Kaiju Chill O'Clock, episode 49. Next week, we have episode 50. That's quite a milestone, if you ask me, for the show. I'm really stoked that Kaiju Chill O'Clock has hung in there for 50 episodes. It's not easy doing a live show like this for that long, let me tell you. Just trying to think of topics, things to do, and again, it's all thanks to you guys that the show does as good as it does. So thank you all for being here, discussing, chatting. Again, Kaiju Chill O'Clock. You guys are just chilling with me. So thank you again. And then Rich, he actually has the measurements, about 19 inches. There you go. It's about, 19, 20 inches. It's a tall figure. Goji 2001. Sadly, I go back to work next week, and I got 44 hours to work, man. You'll get through it. Don't worry. Work is never fun. Trust me. I go back to work tomorrow. Today's my Sunday, so. But again, I have time coming off here pretty soon in the coming weeks because, again, I have to go to Colorado for Goji Fan 93's wedding, so I took time off for that. So. And then Bobby Reynolds, about as tall as the 2014 Godzilla figure from Jack's Pacific, that I'm pretty sure is what you're talking about. Yep. But it's better than the Godzilla 2014 from Jack's Pacific. Bandai is just fantastic. I love this box so much. I'm so glad I have the box. Again, it's just a nice piece to have. I mean, it goes perfectly right there between these two shelves. So. Oh, Goji 2001. What is my favorite figure? Out of everything, out of absolutely everything, my favorite figure has to be the 30 centimeter X Plus Titanosaurus. I absolutely love this figure with a passion. Titanosaurus is my favorite kaiju. He's my favorite monster. This is my favorite figure in my whole collection. I absolutely love it. It's beautiful. It's colorful. And this figure just has a really cool story. You know, when I knew it existed, it was always out of my reach. It was so expensive on the secondhand market. And then, one day, Rich Iso from Fresh Vinyl Reviews messaged me. He said he found an X Plus 30 centimeter Titanosaurus for the best deal that he's ever seen for one in a long time. And he asked me if I wanted it, because it was through a Japanese website, auction website that he uses. Rich got it. I sent him a check, and Rich shipped it out to me. So that is the story about this figure. Mr. Fresh Vinyl Reviews himself, Rich Iso, helped me acquire this figure. This figure was in his hands before it was in mine. And this is the original release. This is not the Diamond reissue. This is the original release, X Plus. Here's the box art right here. And Rich Iso, Fresh Vinyl Reviews, signed it for me. So I have Rich Iso's signature. In the gold here, it's kind of hard to see, but that is Tomoko Ai, who played Katsura from the movie. That is her signature. And then, I'm bad with names, this guy. So I have Tomoko Ai, her signature, which here she is next to Titanosaurus. Her signature is this gold one right here. And then I have Rich Iso's signature, and then you see another signature on here. That is his signature. So, I got the two main human characters from Terror of Mechagodzilla's signature on the front cover box art here, plus Rich Iso's autograph. So, the 30 centimeter Titanosaurus means a lot to me. It's a very special figure. And that is why it is my favorite figure in my collection. Bobby Reynolds asking, what is the difference between Bandai and Bandai Creation? So, yes, I've heard a lot, there's been people that have asked this question before, and it's a good question. So Bandai, a true Bandai figure is Bandai Japan, which a lot of these Godzillas up here, not that, but all of these up here are true Japanese Bandai figures, made directly from the company Bandai. So, Bandai Creations, though, is basically Bandai's America outlet, which you also hear it called. Bandai Creations is also called Bandai America. It's not directly under, or well, I don't want to say directly under Bandai, because Bandai still owns them, but it's different from their other Bandai lines. So, for instance, the Godzilla Final Wars that I have up here, that is Bandai Creation. That is Bandai Creation. This Gigan here is Bandai Creation. And you can really tell the difference between a Bandai figure and a Bandai Creation figure. Usually true Japanese Bandai figures have very good, the sculpts are like none other. The sculpts are really good, the detail's really good, the paint is pretty much decent. On Bandai Creation, the paint can be a little more sloppy, the sculpt's not as good, so there are differences for sure. And then you got the sculpt itself, because Bandai Japan put out their own Godzilla Final Wars figure, and that looks different than that one. So sometimes the sculpt and the pose goes into effect as well. So that's pretty much the differences. And of course, price points. Bandai Creations, you can find them locally here in stores in the States, and they cost you your normal retail. Bandai Japan figures can cost you nowadays on the upwards of $30 to $40, possibly a little bit more for shipping to import them and stuff like that. So that is, here we go again. Here's a great example. Baragon from Playmates here. Playmates is basically the new Bandai Creation. So you have Baragon from Playmates here, and then you have Baragon from Japanese Bandai. You can tell the differences. You can tell the differences. In quality and all of that, you can tell the differences. Let's see. Bobby Reynolds, where did you get the first Kaiju convention poster? Okay. So, this here, back when I started Godzilla Fan Freaks, one of my very first subscribers, was from a guy over in the United Kingdom. He always commented on my videos. I still talk to him to this day. James Wayne is his name. Great guy. And he lives across the pond over in the United Kingdom. And they published their own UK Kaiju group, and they made their own United Kingdom Kaiju convention. And one day, pretty much the day that I was going home from visiting Goji Fan 93, those few years ago, when I went to go see him, bought a bunch of his collection off of him, and visited for the whole weekend. That day that we were driving home, me and my friend Daniel, I got a message from James, and he was asking me, would you like Godzilla Fan Freaks to be the official Godzilla YouTuber for the United Kingdom? I was kind of floored by that, and he was pretty much, in the. I don't know if they even still have it, because I don't know if they ever did another one after this, and this was in 2018, but they made a website and stuff for it, and I was appointed the main Godzilla YouTuber for the United Kingdom. Um, Even though I live in Tucson, Arizona, in the United States. And so when they did the first ever UK Kaiju convention, they sent me a care package, which was kind of like a thank you, because I kind of helped with some of the stuff on my end. And so they sent me this. This was their flyer. Again, they have the website. Again, I don't know if the website's even still active or anything like that. But of course, you have kind of like a Gorgo Kaiju look-alike here. They had it at a Holiday Inn. Here was everybody's signatures from the team. And so they just sent me the flyer. I got an official art print that Matt Frank did for the convention, which was Gorgo versus Titanosaurus. They sent me a card. I had got a little magnet that I have on my fridge. So it was just a nice little care package with some goodies. So that is where this came from, Bobby Reynolds. Yeah, this was the little poster flyer for the first ever United Kingdom Kaiju convention. And I was a part of that in a way. So, it's respectfully presented and displayed in my collection. So now you guys know a little bit something more about me that you probably didn't. So again, thank you for pointing out some gems in my collection today, giving me a chance to talk about, the Godzilla down here, Titanosaurus, and talking a little bit about that. So we're doing pretty good, guys. Show's almost about wrapped up. Any other last minute questions, conversation piece, anything you guys want to talk about before we wrap up today's show? Great show today, by the way, you guys. Thank you all so much for being here. Just had a great, awesome time. Great discussions today. Great discussions. Shared a lot of good laughs. Only got 3 people in here right now. I haven't done a Friday show in a minute, too. And my schedule just worked out today to do the show on Friday this week. So I was like, let's just do a Friday show. Why not? I'm not really sure what time the graveyard shift is going to be next week, or what day, I should say. It's always going to be at 6 p.m. my time. But I'm really not sure what day I'm going to do, if I'm going to do Thursday night or Friday night next week. That is going to be wait to be determined. So that is all I have to say about that. Bobby Reynolds, how can you tell if an X Plus is an original or if it's a diamond reissue? Usually you can't. It's pretty much the same figure as an original, despite maybe some differences in paint. I actually heard, because this 84 right here, this 30 centimeter is a diamond reissue. It's not an original, but I've actually heard other people say that they prefer the way the paint apps are on the diamond versus the original 84. So there are sometimes pros, but usually the only way you can tell an X Plus figure is a diamond reissue is, let's take a step out here, is this logo right here. You can really only tell from the box. If the X Plus box has this PX preview exclusive logo, it's a diamond reissue. So Sanda and Gyra here were diamond reissues. Trying to think what else I have up. Baragon here, he was a diamond reissue. Let's see. Varan down here, he was a diamond reissue. See, Space Godzilla's original, because you don't see the logo. And that's the only boxes arts I have up right now, because Gamera Diamond reissues never really did any Gameras. So that's pretty much the main, how you can tell, main screen, or DVD menu, whatever. Can't give me for footage with that. I don't hope so. Anyway, so that's how you can tell a figure is a Diamond reissue, is if it comes with the box and it has this. This is Diamond reissue. Otherwise, the figures are pretty much overall the same. And with that, you guys, rotate the camera here, and let's just close out this show. So, you guys, great show today. Thank you all for being here. Had a great, fun, fantastic time. Make sure we're good on comments, and we're good. All right, everybody. Like always, we are Godzilla Fan Freaks. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to atomic blast that notification bell while you are at it. Don't forget to like and follow Godzilla Fan Freaks over on Facebook. And don't forget to follow Godzilla Fan Freaks over on Instagram. That way you stay up to date with everything going on. Kaiju Chill O'Clock shows and all that good stuff. Tucson Kaiju Festival coming up in November. And Bobby Reynolds, take it easy and stay awesome. I hope one day to be on your stream. That could be a possibility, my friend. Time will tell. All right, everybody. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Again, happy Father's Day to any dads out there. And we'll see you guys next week for Kaiju Chill O'Clock, episode 50. And remember, that will be a graveyard shift. All right, everybody. Have a great rest of your day and a fantastic weekend.